Hey, good morning, folks. I'm meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the MLive morning weather update. What day is it? It's Wednesday. We're into now a numerous thunderstorm pattern as the hot dome is being broken down. And the reason why this dome is being broken down is because there are disturbances heading in from the west. I thought about this. We use this term, and maybe you don't know what it means. What is an upper air disturbance? It kind of sounds like maybe two of your kids are fighting upstairs on the second floor of your house, right? No, an upper air disturbance, remember, my job is very simple. I do one thing every day. I try to figure out if the air is rising or sinking, and if the air is rising, I try to figure out if there's enough moisture to produce some sort of precipitation. That's, the bottom line of it. So what is an upper air disturbance? It's a swirling pattern of air that gets the air rising. So these are little storm systems in the summer versus in the winter. A storm system can take up the eastern half of the U.S., literally from the Canadian border down to the Gulf. But these are smaller disturbances, and I'll show you what I mean. We have a fun name, and sorry if I get a song stuck in your head, but we have a name for it, and we call it the Ring of Fire. And that is on the edge of this hot dome. These disturbances cause a line of thunderstorms that kind of, form a ring around the hot dome. And there you can see it. You can see it real clearly here. And I tried to emphasize this yesterday too, that this ring of fire has its origins down in the tropical Pacific. So what does that mean? That means if you get under a robust thunderstorm for a half hour or an hour, you get 1 inch or 2 inches of rain. If you get a couple of those over the course of the next 5 to 7 days, you wind up with 4 or 5 inches of rain. That's certainly possible. Now, you'll notice that the brighter clouds are just to our west, Minnesota and the Dakotas. So I do think there are some more significant disturbances there. But we'll just have to track them. I will in just a second. Hey, I want to say hi to folks. Good morning, Larry Pusker, Sterling Heights, Mark Mario, Mr. Ambrosi. Good morning. What's the 4th looking like? Right now, it looks comfortable. I would call it 77 to 83. I'm going to write about that probably today. Do not start getting yourself down on what the app shows for the 4th of July. Too far out, and what I noticed is the European model, which is notoriously colder than it should be out at 10 days, has a high of something like 67 around Traverse City on July 4th. So if that's showing up on your app, you go, 67? Don't worry. It's very hard to only have a high of 67 at this time of the year. You'd have to have a solid rain from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. That's very hard to do. I think it'll come back. It looks to me from the upper air pattern, remember, 36 years trying to fight Mother Nature professionally. It looks to me like it's probably a 77 to 83 type thing across Michigan. But we'll watch that as we go. So, the Ring of Fire. Do I have the song stuck in your head now? Yeah, I probably will get it stuck in my head too, so don't despair. Today, we have some showers, some light thunder showers rolling through the southern half of the state right now. You see the next blob of showers and thunder showers off to the west. By the way, no official severe weather is expected today, as in high wind gusts, large hail, or tornadoes. We're just looking at torrential downpours that look relatively short-lived for today. So here's our high resolution rapid refresh. Hey, good morning, Ann Lake from Albion. So let's see here. Let me get this blown up here so you can see it nicely. Okay, so high resolution rapid refresh, latest run coming in. This is noon, 1, 2. So the morning showers across the southeast, Flint, Ann Arbor, Jackson, Detroit, these 10, 15 minutes here and there. Can be 2 minutes of a downpour in there and you can be drenched. This is early this afternoon, mid-afternoon, I'm sorry, 3 o'clock. Looking fairly quiet, and then as we go to the late afternoon, early evening, more thunderstorms erupt in the southeast. Not severe storms, but like I said, if it rains for a half hour at your house, you might say, I wonder how much rain we had. You go out and look at a bucket or something that holds water, and you might have an inch. So this is this evening. So today I would call it relatively quiet across most of Michigan. Overnight, it looks like the UP and northern lower gets soaked. This is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So we wake to some thunderstorms, again, vigorous. Those could be possibly severe. Now we jump to the next. Let's see here. Now we jump to the next model, and you'll get this idea that the disturbances are coming closer and closer to Michigan as the ridge gets wore down. Somebody asked me yesterday, the person cuts hay. By the way, the top 3 weather users, roofer, hay cutter, hand in hand, and person that pours concrete. All 3 about tied, glued to the weather, and I get it. I understand. It's totally weather driven. But they asked me, when's this pattern going to end? Amy Z, very good. Rain before 7, usually gone by 11. Yes, works. It's an awesome saying. I forgot about that one. What it is if it's raining before 7 in the morning in the summer, rarely can a rain last more than a couple of hours, and during the summer, the midday, everything quiets down. Back to my thought. When do we kick out of this pattern? It looks like about Tuesday we kick out, and I'm watching Monday because that's a definitive strong upper air disturbance, and that might be a more widespread severe weather situation. This is tomorrow. This is tomorrow noon. So the zone continues to be northern lower Michigan, Houghton Lake, Traverse City area, Alpena, Oscoda, Sheboygan, Mackinac City, and the UP. And then in the evening, it tends to shift to the south. This is Thursday night. This is Friday at midnight. And then we go into Friday morning, and more storms come across the Traverse City area. So the northern half of lower Michigan really could see some fairly substantial rains. Now this model, this is the European, this goes out farther into the future, and this model will show when we can get an end to this pattern, and I would call it about Tuesday, and that could take us into the 4th of July. It's tough to tell on exact timing just yet, but here's tomorrow. Storms northern half for the most part. Here's Thursday night, Friday morning. There could be a burst of storms in the southern half. This is Friday afternoon as a front tries to shift to the south, so I think it'll sneak more into the south by Friday afternoon. This is Saturday, looking mostly dry. This is Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. The weekend could be 90% dry. And then, like I said, Monday we start to see a strong upper air disturbance come through. This is Monday morning into early afternoon, and then early afternoon into evening. So that we put a big watch out for. Late afternoon, evening storms in this active pattern with heat to the south, strong jet stream still. All of those say, let's watch it. It also says that behind that, we finally cool off, dry out a little bit. Here's Wednesday, July 2nd. Here's Thursday, July 3rd. And for what it's worth, we get to go out into 4th of July night. For what it's worth, don't take that to the bank, because these disturbances can be differently timed. Here's a model that attempts to forecast the total rainfall. Now, I want to mention this to you. So, I'm going to run it through the rain today in the north, the thunderstorms tomorrow in the north, the thunderstorms everywhere Friday, thunderstorms on Monday. I'm going to run it through that. This model gives you a big idea of the least amount of rain you can have. It does not do well with tropical thunderstorms, so our just basic rule of thumb is the high end in some of these thunderstorms will be 3 times what this model shows as the general rain. So when you're seeing 1.5 inches, that means you have the potential for 4.5 inches of rain. It will be fairly limited in coverage of that, but you have the potential for that. And what that does when it's scattered, it doesn't mean that the entire landscape gets flooded out. You can get small areas that have poor drainage, and then in a day they drain down. But we'll watch for that. So here is that European model through the Monday rain. And it's, you see a lot of places where it says, like for example, Saginaw, it says 1.9. Midland, it says 2.4. Huron County, it says 3.9. Grand Rapids, 1.7. Ann Arbor, 1.4. Look at the UP, solidly several inches of rain. The UP could have 5-6 inches of rain here over the next week or so. So we're all going to be in line for some fairly substantial rain, which isn't a bad thing at this time of the year. All of our plants and all of our landscape can use pretty much as much rain as possible, until it gets excessive. So we're done with the high heat for most of us today, but still very sticky. Temperatures in the 80 to 85, I think, would be a real good way to call it for today. We're back warmer. We're humid. When does the humidity end, too? Is a good question. So when does the humidity end? It'll end at the same time, or humidity never ends, but it'll end at the same time Monday night, Tuesday, when those storms roll through. But this is tomorrow. It's warm, and this is Friday. It's hot again in Ann Arbor and the whole Detroit area. Well, it's a little cooler across UP because of rain. This is Saturday, looking classic, 80 to 85 in a lot of places, maybe some mid to upper 70s, far northern lower, just beautiful summer weather. Remember, the southern part of the country baking right now, so they would die for this kind of weather. Sunday looks like your get out on the lake if you like to bake in the sunshine type of day. It looks really nice for Michigan summer lovers. Temperatures into the 80s, be near water. Monday, ahead of those storms, upper 80s, so that can fuel severe thunderstorms. Tuesday, behind it, we all down into the 70s and 80s. Wednesday, Thursday. Now, again, before I show you the 4th of July, I gotta talk you off a ledge. I'm gonna show you 4th of July. You're gonna say, ooh, that looks cool. Remember, this is the deterministic mode of the European, so it's the best set of starting circumstances that they like to use, but it can be off. In fact, let's maybe try to go to the ensemble. Let's look at the deterministic, and then let's look at the ensemble of the same model. So I'll have to do some little stuff on the computer here, so just bear with me. And what that will show is the ensemble, remember, is 51 tweaks of that model, and it'll probably average higher. So let's just take a look. Now, again, I get lambasted for showing stuff too far in advance. So look at that. Grand Rapids, 67. Oh, no! Okay, so that's the deterministic. Now, I'm going to have to go back here. Bear with me a second. I got to find what I want here. Okay, so let's look at the ensemble. All right. Ensemble, yes, here we go. All right. So, let's go to, all right, ooh, maybe I better shut up. So here's the ensemble for July 4th. And basically, probably why it's doing that is because it's saying that it believes that there will be an area of showers holding the temperature down. Too far out to tell. Too far out. If you don't have showers, you're probably well into the 70s. If you have showers, you might be cooler than that. So just too far out for right now. So we're not going to worry about severe weather today, as in wind gusts, tornadoes, or hail. You can get under a 10-15 minute torrential downpour. And over the next couple of days, we will have more rounds of thunderstorms. Some of those could start to become severe as the wind energy gets a little stronger. But of course, you got me, you got MLive, you're all set. No problems whatsoever. Hey, get out there and enjoy it. It's summer and it's Michigan. Take care. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, and this is the MLive Morning Weather Update. Bye.